Everybody, and welcome to Silly Girl this evening. We're going to talk about stop fucking apologizing for existing and microdosing for people pleasers. So welcome everybody this evening, and I'm so glad you joined me. If you have any questions along the way, you feel free to hit me up in the chat. We'll get those answered as we go. So I'm going to ask you guys all a question. How many times today did you apologize? We all do it. We say we're sorry for stuff and we don't really mean we're sorry. Sorry, can I ask a question? Sorry for bothering you. Sorry, I know this is annoying, but sorry I'm crying. Sorry I'm doing this. Sorry I'm doing that, right? So if you close your eyes for a second, think of the last time you apologized when you didn't need to. And how many times in a day do you apologize when you don't need to? And what exactly are you apologizing for? Because we're really not apologizing for what we did. We're apologizing for existing. This isn't being nice. It's called a trauma response. People pleasing is fawning. It's not kindness. So we have a little safety loop going on in our brain. So the first thing that happens is we detect a threat. Then we do the fawn response. It's activated. It says the nervous system says merge over fight or flight, right? Then there's a behavior output. There's some temporary relief. And then there's reinforcement that this keeps us safe. So we have this rigid self model that says, I am the super helper. I am the fixer. This isn't who you are. It's like a survival program that you probably formed somewhere in childhood. Microdosing can help you with that. So what's the cost of all this fawning? And what do you lose when you live for others' approval? First off, you lose yourself, right? So you don't know what you actually want. You don't know what you like. You don't know what you believe. And you become a mirror for others. You generally carry around some chronic resentment. You give, and then you feel angry, but you can't say it. And the nice girl secretly is furious inside, right? Eventually you get burnout. So your body keeps the score. You have chronic fatigue, autoimmune issues, and exhaustion from performing. So you're doing a whole bunch of things you don't really want to do. And then finally you have boundary collapse. You don't have real boundaries. You have to walk or it's nothing at all. And you can't say no without guilt, right? So when you set those boundaries, you feel really guilty inside. So which of these costs resonates most with you right now? Personally, I have a lot of guilt. Sometimes when I'm saying no to people, but no is a complete sentence and we have to learn that. So what happens when you add psilocybin to the mix? It's a self-model disruptor. So you can experience yourself without the pleasing filter. And so there's a science behind this unbinding. Your brain creates a rigid self-model, right? I am the helper. I am the fixer. I am the savior. Psilocybin targets the mechanisms that bind your identity to the story, creating a temporary ego dissolution, right? So it dissolves the people-pleasing equal safety loop, and it separates who I am from what I do. And this reveals the authentic self underneath the role. And so I realized this nice girl persona isn't who I actually am. It's just a role I played for survival. And so how many of you guys have done that in the past, right? Yeah, all of us, I think. So the self-compassion shift then happens. It turns the love inward finally. And so compassion for everyone else is a people pleaser pattern. Finally, with the psilocybin shift, it's compassion for yourself. You realize you've been hard on yourself. I would never talk to anybody else the way I talk to myself. And the medicine helped me stop doing that, right? So how many of us are jerks to ourselves? Me included. Yeah, we say a bunch of really nasty stuff in our head. So the microdosing daily practice, it kind of opens the door. And then the microdosing keeps it open. So it loosens the pleasing equal safety loop. It builds real-time self-awareness, and it supports the boundary setting of tolerating a no, right? So then we have sustained neuroplasticity, which is really freaking awesome. So what life looks like when you stop apologizing all the time. You get to say no without guilt. And you realize that no is a complete sentence. You don't have to justify. You don't have to make excuses. You don't have to lie about, other obligations, things like that. You get to be an authentic expression. So you start sharing your actual opinions, not just what people want to hear. You reduce over-explaining, so you don't have to justify your needs. Like I said, no is a complete sentence. You deepen relationships, so the people who are truly, truly love you, they stay. And the ones who only like the yes woman, they leave. They get the heck out of here. You also have emotional honesty. So if you cry in front of someone without apologizing for it, you get to have emotions without apologizing for it. It does not mean you get to run around being a jerk, right? But it does mean you get to be human and you don't have to say you're sorry. You then gain self-trust. So you trust your gut instead of looking around being like, who over here thinks this is okay? Is this normal? Is this whatever, right? So you go from I am the helper to the I am a sovereign self. I am me. I am authentically me. So let's talk about how to microdose responsibly, because you do deserve safety, right? Make sure you check that you get a medical integration, right? So that somebody looks at your medical history and sees if there's any contradictions, which we've talked about many times and they're all listed here. Make sure that you have a good mindset. What is your intention? What do you want to do when you're in microdose or macrodose? Make sure you're in a good setting or environment. Are you in a safe, supportive space? Work with a coach or therapist who understands trauma if you have that coming up, right? And then finally, choose a protocol that works for you. There's a lot of protocols, and you can also do the gut method, which is what feels right to me or what calls to me. Finally, it's your choice to keep performing or start living, because you've been supporting this character and it's time to be the lead in this play, right? So you can stay the fawn and you can keep apologizing for existing. You can mold yourself to others' wishes. You can abandon your needs to feel safe and feel empty despite doing it right. Or you can rewire this loop and you can disrupt the pleasing equals safety script. You can build a self rooted in authenticity. You can tolerate the discomfort of being seen. And you can reclaim your voice, needs in life, and actually set boundaries in your life, which feels really damn good. So where do you want to be in 6 months from now? Do you want to be apologizing or owning your sovereignty? Do you want to be your authentic self and actually have boundaries and be surrounded by people that actually like you for who you are? Because that's super important in this life. So if you're ready to stop apologizing and ready to start living, you can set up a free call with me. You can go to sillygirl.com and there's a link on there for you to schedule a one-on-one call. There's no cost for that. You can clarify your goals. You can ask questions about safety, ask questions about your situation. We have right now a people pleaser protocol. It's a 6-week guided microdosing program to reclaim your sovereignty. So you can ask about that. And then we do a deep dive journey too. If you want to do a macrodose plus integration plus microdosing for those ready to, for the full system reset, right? You get trauma release, ego dissolution, deep integration support, and total rewiring of your mental feedback loop. This is all science-backed, soul-led, and it's trauma-informed. So if you're curious about this, you want more information, you want to understand how it works, all those things, go to sillygirl.com, or you can get me on Signal at sillygirl.44 or jen@sillygirl.com. Any of those are great ways to get in contact with me, and I'm happy to always answer any questions you may have, to be here for you as you traverse this journey from, being a people pleaser to being your damn authentic self. Thank you guys so much for joining me this evening, and I hope you have a great evening.